The next thing I think is something that's very interesting, and that is a page layout selection. In Thesis, each page or post can only have one of two layouts. It either has the default layout that you set up, or it has the no sidebars layout. And archive pages can only have the default layout. Now you can change this programmatically. So if you want to use PHP code, you can make this different. But by default, or out of the box, Thesis allows you to choose a page layout. And I'm going to just give you that example here for a moment. Thesis lets you choose a page layout. You can, choose the number of columns, and you can choose the column order. So, for example, if you had 3 columns, I'm going to have to come back and fix this, but you can choose a 3-column layout, and if you choose a 3-column layout, you can have sidebars on one side, sidebars on both sides, or sidebars on the other. If you have a 2-column layout, you can have your sidebars on one side or the other, and you set this up once and for all for your entire site. And then once you are looking at a page and you are editing this page or setting up a page, you have a choice either of the default template, which is that default layout, or you can choose the no sidebars template. And those are your only choices really for a non-programmed variation. However, in Genesis, you do set a default layout in the same way that you would set this, but each page then can have one of those 6 layouts. And the same thing is true with archive pages. So, for example, if we are looking at our agency site, and we look at the Genesis settings in the theme settings, it does have this place for you to set your default layout, but then each page also gives you the ability to make that decision again, where you can choose either the default layout or you can choose one of these 6. Now, as a practical standpoint, I don't really think that that is a strong benefit, but if you are the kind of person who wants this kind of a layout on his blog, but this kind of a layout on all the rest of your pages, then this may very well be a very strong determiner in making the decision. And it does let you, make these kinds of choices for yourself on a page-by-page basis. And it's not just page-by-page, it's also post-by-post. So if we look at our posts, you can do the same thing on a post-by-post basis. And you can also do this with archive pages. So if we look at categories, and we look at one of the categories, you can see that your choice again here is you can choose not to use a default layout and a specific layout for this specific category. So it does have that built-in functionality which some person, some design might want to take advantage of. It is one of the things that makes Genesis significantly different than Thesis. Okay, the 7th area of comparison is customizing the appearance without code. Now, Genesis has no system of customizing the appearance of the site without using code. That is, the only way to customize what Genesis looks like is by using either a pre-designed child theme or using your own child theme. But there's no system for customizing that without physically writing code. And currently there aren't any plugins that exist to augment that. Now, I do expect that the future in that regard will change, and that I will be myself developing plugins that allow you to alter Genesis. But for the time being, I only have a couple of Genesis plugins, and they don't really focus on customizing the appearance of Genesis. On the other hand, Thesis gives you extensive options for customizing the appearance, obviously hundreds of options that you can change without code. And then you have my fabulous BYOB plugins to augment that, which really allow a very, very, very wide array of customization without code. Now, this is a double-edged sword, though, right? Having no system of customizing without using code means you have a fairly simple system you have to learn in order to make the site to look polished, right? You select a child theme that you like, and it has a limited number of customization options, and you follow the instructions for that child theme, and you have a very polished looking site very quickly. You don't have to make a whole bunch of decisions in order to make that work. However, with Thesis, you're starting essentially with a blank canvas, and you have to begin to make decisions about what you want your site to look like. And, I've seen plenty of new people flail forever on that one part, that all those decisions just make it very difficult for them to decide what they want their site to look like. And so having all those options is a two-edged sword. But Thesis does have this entire system. And if you add BYOB website plugins to that, there is an entire system of customizing your appearance of your site without using any code at all. Whereas Genesis does not have that system except for the child theme system. Now, so comparison number 8 is customizing the appearance with code. Thesis currently has 3 systems for customizing with code. And I think there's only, as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion, there are really only 2 systems worth talking about. But nevertheless, there are 3. There is the native system, which is you adding code to custom CSS or custom functions PHP. And you do that on your own site in those files, which is what hundreds of videos on my site are about, right? How to customize Thesis using your custom CSS file and your custom functions PHP file. That's its native system for using it. And the second system is a skin system, which I'm not going to describe, but is a slight augmentation of that. And then the third system, which is new in Thesis 1.84, is the child theme system. And the child theme system is a system I'm going to teach starting in May. And I think it probably is, it is the future for this kind of Thesis customization. I think in the future we'll end up with, in Thesis, with really 2 systems, child themes and then their native system. Thesis has a built-in simple method of adding code snippets that will survive theme upgrades. That was the genius of Thesis when it first came out, and remains sort of one of the cornerstones of why you use Thesis. And that is, you can customize the appearance with code without hacking the core. You can make simple or complex changes to your site just by adding stuff to your custom CSS file and custom functions PHP file. And for that matter, really, BYOB website, right, is a Thesis website. And it is a highly complex, a very complicated set of functionality associated with the site. And all of that stuff is programmed using the Thesis system of custom CSS, custom functions PHP. And your customization survives upgrade without having to hack it. On the other hand, Thesis' new child theme system it's spectacular, really. It's very nice, but it does lack some very easy tools that Genesis has and that other competing frameworks have for creating child themes. So it does have child theme support, but its child theme support is not as mature. It obviously just came out with this latest release. Its child theme support is not as flexible as Genesis is, or other competing themes, but it still is a very nice system. If you take the class in May, you'll see. On the other hand, Genesis only has one way for you to customize Genesis, and that's the WordPress way, and that's using child themes, which means there's really no simple method short of creating a child theme for you to customize your Genesis website and still allow it to survive an upgrade. Now, it's not that difficult to create a child theme, but nevertheless, it's not as simple as using the Thesis system. And there's no way to customize a child theme without hacking the child theme. Right? So, for example, if you are using the agency child theme, the only way to customize it is to either use the customization functions it has, or you actually have to hack the child theme. And now you don't want to hack the child theme because the next time they upgrade agency, you're going to lose those hacks. So Genesis doesn't have any way for you to customize a child theme. However, Thesis does have its system built in. So if you buy a child theme or use a child theme, it still gives you the ability to use your custom functions PHP file and custom CSS file to augment that child theme without hacking the child theme's core. So that's one of the things that makes Thesis stand apart from the other systems of child themes, in that it does allow you, even with child themes, to customize those themes without hacking the child theme's core. No way to do that in Genesis. If you've got a child theme and you almost like it, but you don't quite like it, you want to make a few changes to it, you are going to essentially create your own child theme using that child theme as its base, and you won't be upgrading that child theme without losing that customization or having to port that customization over to the upgraded theme. However, child themes creation, or the child theme support, is very robust and it has many easy tools. So as soon as you want to create your own child theme in Genesis, Genesis is designed to easily create child themes, and so its child theme support, for example, if you want to add footer widgets to your theme, or you want to add some additional widget areas to your theme, or you want to add breadcrumbs to your theme, or you want to add other navigation menus to your theme, or you want to add some meta boxes to your theme, Genesis makes it very easy for you to add those things without a whole lot of complicated programming, because it expects people who are using it to want to create their own child theme, or it at least expects people who are going to learn programming to use it that way. And so it has built in a very robust set of tools that make creating a child theme easier, and those tools don't exist in Thesis. So it's really sort of two competing systems for customizing with coding.